Hello everyone, my name is Dr. Mohammad Zubeer Ahmed. I am Assistant Professor in the Department of Political Science, Janaki Devi Memorial College, University of Delhi. I am recording this lecture on 10th January 2023 for E-Resource Center. The topic of my lecture today is step-by-step procedure for writing a research proposal. Basically, I am going to talk about the nitty-gritty of writing a research proposal. What are the steps that one has to follow? So in a very simplistic way, I am going to discuss some of the tips I am going to give you. And I'm also going to show you a sample research proposal written for a project by my students. So that project also I'll be showing you. Along the way, I'll be discussing the nitty-gritty of writing a research proposal in a step-by-step manner. First of all, let us try to understand what is a research proposal. Research proposal is nothing but an expression of your interest to carry on research on a certain topic, right? So you are going to devote sufficient amount of time and energy to understand a topic and add to the knowledge. In order to do so, you need to have a proposal first. And proposal is very important because it provides you a direction. And it also tells you whether the research on a particular topic that you have chosen, is it workable or not? It also helps you to convince your supervisor, mentor, funder, or any institution, because it's a research proposal that goes to them. If they find it interesting, then they'll mentor you, right? Therefore, while writing a research proposal, one has to be very careful and follow all the steps meticulously. The moment you have decided to do the research, you decide a broad area in which you want to conduct a research or do a research. For instance, you want to work on foreign policy, India's foreign policy per se. So in this area, you can have a broader theme as bilateral relations. For example, bilateral relations between India and Israel or India and Iran, right? So that's the broader area. Then you have to zero in further because you cannot work on a broader area, right, alone. So you have to narrow it down later on in the later stages. So first of all, you have to decide which area, which broad area in which you want to work on. For example, here it is bilateral relations between India and Israel or India and Iran. Then whatever you know or want to do on that particular broad area, write down in a page. When you write down in a page, then you will understand whether you know about that particular topic or because there is some news regarding it in the newspaper, or you must have heard it, or it's a fancy topic, that's the reason why you have picked up. All that will become clear, because commitment is needed for writing a research proposal or to that matter conducting a research. Once you take up the research, you cannot leave it in midway. If you are leaving midway means the research has come to an end without any result whatsoever. Means so you are wasting your time, energy and everything, right? So one don't want to be in such kind of a situation. So therefore, you write down in about a page and see whether your ideas regarding the broader area that you have chosen are coherent or not. After writing a page, you also prepare a bibliography on the topic or related to the topic. So, because we cannot simply go around and write whatever we want, right? Research is something that you are searching, and in the process of searching, you are taking the help of the other work or related work that is done before you, right? So one has to prepare the bibliography, the possible books that and articles that you may refer while writing the proposal firstly, and then later on, when you write your project or a thesis or a dissertation, for that also you can use this bibliography. Another aspect is that whenever you write a bibliography or reference, follow a particular style. Right? There are various styles. You have MLA style, Chicago style, APA style, okay, and there are many more. So you can follow them, or you can follow the institutional mandated style. For instance, Jawaharlal Nehru University has School of International Relations. They have a research manual. Okay, so like that, the institutions also have a research manual. So you have to know which research manual is followed, and accordingly you should write your references / bibliography, and you have to follow the entire system. It is always better to start from the beginning, following the suggested research methodologies, techniques, styles, right? Don't ever compromise on ethics of research. And again, this has to be inculcated from the beginning, from conception to conclusion of the research. If we compromise on the ethics of research, it will catch up one day. There have been several instances wherein professors were demoted because they have not followed the ethics of research. There are people who lost their ministries. For instance, in Germany, a decade back, one of the minister was found plagiarizing in his PhD thesis, and he had to resign from his post. So it's not okay. And there are instances wherein due to the plagiarism charges, people were even jailed. There are such examples in India and elsewhere too. So why to be in that kind of a situation, right? And for example, the ethics that if you don't follow, they may not catch up right now with you. Probably you may end up getting a degree and all. But whatever the research that you have conducted, you will be recognized by that even after 30, 40, 50 years. So that time, you may get caught up due to the unethical practices that you have followed. So this is one thing that has to be kept very mind very clearly, and follow all the ethics of conducting and writing a research project or a thesis or a dissertation. So once you do these small little things, then go and meet your supervisor, mentor, or whosoever under whom you want to work. It serves two purposes. One is that you are telling the person under whom you want to work that you are pretty serious about this particular topic. And number two is that when you go there, you're going with preparation. So if a supervisor or mentor asks you certain questions, you will be able to answer them, and end of the day you will be able to convince that person to guide you or mentor you, right? So before meeting the supervisor itself, you have to do all these things and then go and meet. And then the inputs will be given by the supervisor. They'll narrow down your topic. It could be an issue. For instance, if you are taking up research on India and Israel, so it could be India-Israel agrarian cooperation or defense cooperation. And then there will be periodization also, because we cannot have from 1948 to 2023, right? You can have periodization, so maybe from 1990 onwards, maybe from 2001 onwards, or whatever it is, right? So that, the domain expert would be able to tell you which area is sub area is very important and what should be the time frame one has to follow, right? So take all the inputs and incorporate them and write a systematic step-by-step research proposal. I'll show you, what are the steps that one has to follow while writing a research proposal with examples. One of my student has written this research proposal, and I'm showing that to you people as well. The first thing is that you need to have a title page where you need to mention the title of your thesis or dissertation, and then you need to mention your affiliation, who is guiding you, so on and so forth. So all those details you need to write down. So you can see here the title of the research project is India in South Asia, Interests and Challenges. So that's the topic. Then you write the duration of the project, how long you're going to continue this project. That also you have to let them know, right? Then comes introduction. Introduction is a window that opens up a possibility for you, in fact, because what you are thinking and all that will become very clear. So introduction has 3 parts in it, right? You need to have an opening statement where you have to explain in about a sentence or two profoundly what you're going to do, what is the importance of this particular topic. Then you define the topic further. So the second aspect is defining the introduction. Then you provide the layout of your research. So on which are all the areas on which you are going to write your introduction or your thesis, right? On which are the areas on which you are going to write the thesis, that has to come in the layout. So 3 aspects, right? Opening statement, defining the topic, and providing the layout. It differs from institution to institution, from purpose to purpose, right? Some places they may ask you to write introduction only in 300 words. Some places they'll ask you to write in a page or 2 pages. Sometimes they may ask you to write in about 5 to 6 pages. So whatever the requirement of an institution is, accordingly you write, you provide the information. So mind the space that is given by the institution for writing the introduction. See, so here then you have the keywords after introduction. So whatever the keywords that you have used in your introduction, that you need to provide. So these are the keywords. Particularly in the journal, it helps a great deal when you are searching with the keywords. So your article pops up. So these keywords helps there. So one has to start following them from proposal stage onwards itself. Then you have literature review or review of the literature, right? You are not the first person who is working on this topic, India in South Asia, Interests and Challenges. So there are so many other people who have worked. So the use of this literature review is manifold. Like one is that you are acknowledging the contribution of the previous scholars on this topic, and you're saying that you have read this and you're going to utilize them as part of your research, right? For example, Aristotle has worked on citizenship. In fact, he is the person who has explained about citizenship in a systematic way in his times. So it is said that whatever the scholarship that followed after Aristotle on citizenship is nothing but a footnote to the scholarship that was produced by Aristotle on the concept of citizenship, right? So meaning to say, when you are talking about citizenship, you end up referring to the literature of Aristotle and later scholars also. And now you are writing the adding on to the literature. Probably the next researcher after you, if he or she is working on this particular topic, they will refer to your output, research output, and probably they may use it as literature review, right? So that's the thing. So basically, what we are doing is we are acknowledging and we are even paying a tribute to our predecessors who have worked on this particular topic. Second purpose of the literature review is that literature review helps you to find the gaps, right? What do we do in research? We fill the gap. So that purpose also is served because of the literature review. So you need to have a literature review, and this literature review has to be divided thematically. How do you divide the themes? You divide the themes based on the objectives, based on the questions that you are asking, or based on the hypothesis that you have, chapterization. All these things, are written in sync with each other. So based on that, you divide even your literature review also. So as you can see that this particular literature review in this research proposal is also divided into 3 themes, right? National interest in international relations. So it's a theoretical theme. Then you can see then you have another theme called India's interests in South Asia. Okay, that's the second theme of the literature review. Then you have India's interests and then India's challenges. That's the third theme of your literature review, right? So then you have the rationale and scope of the study. So in this one you will explain what are the gaps that you have found in the literature review, and then you also talk about the scope of your study. What is the scope that you see in the study, and what are you going to add on to the existing literature, and so on and so forth, right? Then comes the objectives or research questions. So in this particular proposal, research questions is used. So these are the questions you frame that you based on what you are planning to probe, what you want to research about. So either objectives or research. So here it is research questions. Here it is the terminology that is used is research questions. So either research questions or objectives you can use. Then comes the hypothesis of the research. This is very, very important, right? What is hypothesis? Hypothesis is a presupposition. Meaning to say it's like a statement. You are making a statement, and you are going to conduct the research in order to prove it or disprove it. Okay? So in the course of research, it can be proven or it can be disproven. Okay, whatever it is, but you have a research hypothesis that helps you to conduct the research. So it has a important place in the research. So normally, when you go for a presentation on it, then they'll ask you, what is your hypothesis first? So let us start. In fact, many of the presentations of research proposals starts with hypothesis. First, you have to tell the hypothesis, then you go on further, elaborating. So that, important it is. In fact, it's a cornerstone of your research. Okay. Then comes methodology. It's a huge area. Right now, I'll not get into, but there are various methods that one uses. Quantifiable methods, and you have theoretical methodology, you have descriptive, you have analytical, and so on and so forth. And beside that, what are you going to do to collect the primary material or primary information on this particular topic? So either you conduct interviews, or you rely on government documents, or you conduct surveys, whatever that could be, right? So those, what are you going to do and which are the theories that you are going to apply and all that, you write in the methodology section. Then comes chapterization. So you need to divide your research into various chapters, as you have divided, for instance, the literature review or objectives or research questions. In the same manner, you have to divide the chapterization also, right? And these three things, as I said, are written in sync with each other. So chapters, generally in a book or in a research project or thesis, whatever it is, generally you have 5 chapters minimum. So there are 2 chapters, those are introduction and conclusion. Those two anyway will be there. Beside that, you have minimum 3 substantial chapters. As you can see right now, that's there on the screen. You have 3 chapters. One is a theoretical chapter, then there is a chapter on challenges, and there is a chapter on prospects of cooperation and so on and so forth, right? So that's the thing. So in a gist, a kind of a gist you have to provide. Then comes the bibliography. So what are the sources that are available on this? So that could be directly related or vaguely related, but you have to provide them, meaning to you are saying that you're going to rely on these sources for your theoretical purpose and so on and so forth, right? So in total, what I want to tell you all is that this particular synopsis that is there in front of you, or research proposal, it has followed all the steps of research. Is writing research proposal standardized? There's only one way or one step-by-step procedure to write? No. You have to write your research proposal based on the requirement. So institution to institution it differs, and again from subject to subject it differs. This is a political science based research project, right? So if you are doing per se in economics or commerce or mathematics, it differs to slightly, but more or less the steps are almost the same. Okay, steps are followed, those are almost the same, with little tweaking. So that's the thing that one has to keep in mind. And second aspect that I want to highlight here is that you should follow all these steps in a systematic manner, and follow all the ethics of writing. I hope you end up being a good researcher by following all these things, and submit interesting proposals that are accepted, not rejected. Thank you very much.